Boom. So I have what I assume is a spam text.
Oh, probably.
You want to confirm or deny?
Yeah, I'll confirm.
Actually, evaluate.
I'll evaluate.
It says, well, let me read the number first. It's 63998-312-5146.
It's definitely a scam.
Please pay your fast track lane tolls by February 8th. To avoid a fine and keep your license, you can pay at, and it gives a link. Please reply Y and then exit the text message.
When's the last time you used a fast lane?
I don't know. I mean, most cities have them.
Yeah, but St. Louis doesn't.
No, St. Louis is too small for it. I mean, DC does, LA does.
But when was the last time you were in any of those places and you actually had it?
I can't remember.
Georgia, when I accidentally went through one?
Oh, yeah.
Because the GPS put us through one?
Yeah. How much was that fine? Like $8?
Yeah, it wasn't too much.
So I paid you $4.
You paid me $4.
Yeah.
My dad's like, you're going to have to get that quick before they do something wrong. I'm like, be okay.
Atlanta, your favorite city.
I hate it so much.
Only because of the traffic.
I was watching a video today and they were talking about the Atlanta Hawks. And I was thinking to myself, that would be a terrible place to be an athlete in. Like,
I don't
it's
know.
constantly congested. City planners themselves are like, yeah, we don't know what we were doing. I will take any opportunity to confirm my loathing for the infrastructure that is Atlanta.
Hey, it's a free country. Do whatever you want.
True that. I extend my First Amendment right.
All I can say is Truist Park in Atlanta, they did a wonderful job there.
Oh, I'm sure I would. If I ever went to a Braves game, I would have a really great time.
You would have a groovy time.
I would have. Oh, yeah. But I will say my favorite place in Georgia is Savannah. Nothing beats Savannah, man. That place
of the bananas?
is crazy. Oh, yeah. Savannah bananas are legit. But I love how it's like upholded to its history in its architecture and the way that it structures its city around its main streets and stuff. Great food.
And it's
beautiful weather.
Flannery O'Connor was born there.
Yes, indeed. When I was there, I wasn't able to go because we were there for a wedding. And none of my family were like, yeah, let's go to some dead writer's house
sounds like
for $20.
Sounds like an excuse to me.
It is. I just didn't want to go to by myself.
Yeah. Was it really $20 to get in?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Really? For the tour her to Andalusia, her farmhouse was only like $7.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day.
As one does.
As one does. I had a lot of time to think in my classroom. Mainly so I could disassociate a bit.
From all the, how shall we say this politely, the turds?
Bright little angels. So they would rather us call them. But anyway, I was thinking about David Crosby.
Yeah, like Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Yeah.
You know, I have that record of him and Nash together.
That's the brown one, right? Brown cover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I started off thinking about Graham Nash. Right, so one of my favorite live moments in all of concert footage you can find or anything like that. It comes from a small BBC, talk show from the early 70s, late 60s. Mm-hmm. And it's Graham Nash. He's on piano. It's just him, right? And he's playing this song called Simple Man. And it's like dun 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 dun, like just those kinds of chords, right? It's a simple song.
Yeah.
Okay. Talking about the chorus is I just want to hold you. I don't want to hold you down. I hear what you're saying and it's spinning my head around and I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
The song is his heartbreak over Joni Mitchell. Okay. So Joni Mitchell is the inspiration behind their hit song Our House.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone knows that track. Beautiful track. He was so in love with her. And poetically, she broke up with him over a note that she left him, saying that if you hold sand in your hand too hard, it falls away.
Okay.
Paraphrasing, but that's essentially what it said. And he was so heartbroken, he wrote this song. And when you hear the actual recording, the studio version, it sounds like an empty house. You hear the piano, and he sounds so far away.
Okay.
It's heartbreaking. But in this live version, it's just him, right?
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. Big old bushy beard, long hair. He looks like crap. And then out of nowhere walks who I will look like in about 10 years, David Crosby. And he doesn't make eye contact with him, right? But since this is like it's a talk show, so things are rehearsed over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And they're best buds. He stands right behind, puts his hand on his shoulder, leans over, and they go in perfect harmony together to do that chorus.
Okay.
And the first time I saw that was the day that Crosby died. And that popped up on my YouTube feed, and I watched this whole thing they did together.
Mm-hmm.
So they, after that song, they got their guitars and they played a set. But when, why I wanted to talk about it is because these are two guys that met by circumstance.
Okay.
Like all four members, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, met in like weird situations.
Okay.
Like, Stills and Young met on a freeway that was just backed up, just traffic.
Oh, really?
They met each other on right. And then the other two, they just met because they were big time hippie musicians, right, with the Byrds or the Hollies and all that. And they just, Buffalo Springfield, just happened to just be crossing each other's path. They all look like crap. Like, they're not, maybe Graham Nash, he's a good looking dude. But all these guys look rough around the edges. But when you put their voices together, it is some of the most beautiful and natural harmonies ever. And the fact that David and Graham were able to be perfect sync with each other, just naturally, without even making eye contact, no cues, brings a tear to my every time I think about it. I like sharing that.
Oh, nice.
Because that's it's kind of like good art. That's what that is. Just bringing this connection together and being able to share whatever it is to be human. Love it.
Yeah. You know what that reminds me of? Completely switching topics.
Okay.
You'll see where I'm going, though.
All right.
So I was on Twitter yesterday, as one does.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And I saw this video of, it was a full band, but it was like John and Yoko playing with Chuck Berry.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen this?
I know this one, yeah.
And I think the caption was like, John's just trying not to look bad in front of Chuck. And
yeah, because that's one of his idols.
yeah, and you can see Yoko just like screaming these like, just random screams. And Chuck just like, I'm making the expression right now. You can't see it because you can see it, but the listeners can't. But he's just like, oh my gosh. Just like, really?
He's like, eyes bulging.
Yeah.
Tightens
like,
his lips.
Yeah, this a couple times like Yoko goes like an octave higher, and he's like, "Oh gosh." No,
they cut her.
gosh.
They cut her mic off.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is like, Yoko is like one of the epitome of the avant-garde scene, right? Like there's a certain genius to her, in my opinion. Like
if you do enough analysis,
yeah. There's a lot of respect about Yoko, but there's Chuck Berry is like a guy who made pop songs, 3-minute structures of just jangling guitars. Like he's not trying to like be a studio manipulator. So they totally misread this situation. Like John's trying to play with one of his idols, but yet he can't. Him and his wife just can't get their egos checked. It's like you don't have to do this all the time.
From what it looked like, it seemed like John had his ego in check in that moment. But,
maybe. I love John Lennon, but he's huge
Imagine
ego.
all the people.
I was talking about that album with somebody the other day. Like, talk about a hodgepodge of varying emotions. Talking about world peace. Talking about how he's kind of a jackwagon in terms of how he treats people. Like he's a jealous guy, and then
from what
how
I hear,
he tells.
He did not treat people very well.
No. And then the next one of the other tracks is "How Do You Sleep at Night," which is him bashing Paul McCartney. So it's like world peace. Hey, I need to fix myself. Also, Paul McCartney, I hate you because you're popular right now.
Well, and then they have on the White Album, Why Don't We Just Do It in the Road?
Yeah. Why don't we do it on the road?
And that's like the only line. Why don't we just do it in the road?
Such a groovy song.
It does have a nice catch to it.
Yeah, I really love listening to like early Beatles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I Want to Hold Your Hand, and then you just go to Abbey Road and you play I Want You, She's So Heavy.
Yeah.
And like the dichotomy
of
over like 4-year span of music, like how much they changed.
Well, and how much the influence of drugs really enhanced their music.
Yes.
I mean, if we're being honest, like yes, the early stuff is catchy, whatever, but it's like I'm not advocating drugs, but once they got on that stuff, their music very much improved.
And you know what? I think this is a perfect segue.
Because you and me are complete opposites?
Yeah, yes. But this is a perfect segue to what we're going to do our intro on today.
Yeah. Oh, our intro to the intro.
The intro to the intro.
Well, this probably was the intro.
Yeah. This is good.
Yeah.
But no. Welcome. Hope you're happy. I hope you enjoyed the 10 minutes of us just bantering back and forth.
Yeah. Hopefully one of us gave you a smile.
Yeah.
We're clearly opposites, but we have chemistry, so hopefully you resonate. Hopefully one of us resonates with you.
Yeah. But if you're here today, you're probably excited to know that our next big read is 2666 by Roberto Bolaño.
Or 2666, however you want to say it.
However you want to say it.
Yep.
2666 sounds a little better.
See, I say 2666.
Yeah. Someone I was talking to the other day said that as the title. But
I think
2666, like, which sounds awesome.
Yeah, 2666. Then you go to the 5543, and sounds like a.
Well, I was thinking more heavy metal. Yeah, like Black Sabbath.
Yeah, they're getting together for a final show. You can read about that.
I'm excited.
Who else playing? It's like them, Pantera,
Slayer. Yeah, I love Slayer.
Interesting. Metallica's not in that lineup.
I think one of the members is playing with them though.
Yeah.
If it's Lars Ulrich, then I'm gonna be like, okay. I don't mind Lars more. Like most people, like a lot of drummers hate Lars Ulrich.
Yeah.
I don't mind him, but I do think he's kind of pretentious. Mainly, I have a beef with like post Black Album Metallica because they like pretty much spat on exactly all the things they stood for and what made them awesome, just because they wanted just a little bit more money.
You living in the past?
I am. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I know.
From Kill 'Em All to Black Album is like perfection, and I will play those any day.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I'm like, okay, I just don't need this in my life.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Cutting them out.
Yeah. I like to think they went out on a high note.
Yeah,
if you don't like my opinions, reach out to me on Once Upon a Tone 22 on the Insta and tell me that you like Fuel or Reloaded or any other thing that came out after the Black Album. I'll gladly talk to you about it.
Let me ask you this, Bo.
Sure.
Speaking of metal, I haven't listened to it much.
I love metal.
Yeah, aluminum,
specific.
aluminum, mercury, titanium.
More titanium.
Yeah,
I think it sounds cooler.
Are you a fan of Tool?
Yes. Who isn't?
I don't know.
I really don't trust people that say they don't know or like one Tool song.
I think for me, I don't really know one of their songs, but I have heard. Actually, no, I've experienced people who are Tool fans are hardcore Tool fans. I've yet to meet a like lukewarm Tool fan. Everyone's like, "Oh, they're the greatest band ever," you know. They
do have a heavy following. Do I think they're the greatest band ever? I wouldn't say so, but do I skip anything? No. And it always hits me.
To be fair,
I
have been told that their most recent album, which is a few years old, is exceptional.
Yes.
From an acoustic standpoint.
Oh,
music.
yeah.
So I've been told I need to listen to it in one sitting, front to back. So,
yes, but you do because it's also like 17-minute tracks.
Yeah, and I had it in my my Apple Music, but I have not yet devoted an hour plus to listening to it.
I really like Tool. I don't listen to most of like Maynard's other side projects, like A Perfect Circle. I don't really listen to much. But yeah, I would say Tool is great.
Okay.
But there's a specific like metal music that I like. Like I'm not big on a lot of like bands from now. Like I don't like a whole lot of the popular metal bands.
Yeah, because I don't think they're doing anything original.
I'm a big fan of Ghost,
Yeah.
but I think that's like
So
a lot
are
of
a lot
people.
of the kids at school.
I think a lot of people that don't like certain metal or Ghost. I really love Ghost,
Yeah.
but that's because they sound like Blue Oyster Cult, which
Mhm.
is like one of my favorite bands.
Mm.
You know, so like I love Judas Priest, but my all-time favorite metal band is Iron Maiden.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll play any Iron Maiden album. I don't care if Bruce Dickinson isn't singing. I love Iron Maiden with a
Yeah.
passion.
Yeah.
Love it. But anyway,
Yeah.
back to 266.
Back to 26,
Well, this-
2666.
this-
Oh, you got the hardcover?
Yeah, dude. I bought this
Oh.
for $9.
Are you
I
serious?
found this at like Rose's bookshop.
Dang, I thought I was getting a deal getting it half off on Amazon for $15.
Man, but I've had this for almost
Yeah.
like 6 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but this cover is one of my favorite book covers.
Oh, it's a magnificent cover.
It is heavy metal. This makes you want to listen to some Slayer, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe some, early Black Sabbath.
Yeah. And if you're wondering what we're talking about, we'll post a picture. But
This makes me want to read The Divine Comedy as well.
ooh, yeah, that was speaking to me on my shelf the other day.
Yeah.
But if you're wondering what we're talking about, the cover painting is Jupiter and Semele by Gustave Moreau.
Did yours say that?
Yeah, on the back.
See, mine doesn't have that.
It should be somewhere. They have,
Oh, wait, yes, it does.
yeah, they have to.
Gustave Moreau.
They have to list it somewhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this handsome man. I got a picture of him.
Yeah. Yeah, I got some. At the end, actually, I can say it now. So I was looking up pictures of him the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And have you seen the one with his like sunglasses on?
Yeah.
I think he looks like a Latino Geddy Lee.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We always find a way to put Rush into our conversations.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard this too, but Geddy Lee's voice has been described like Mickey Mouse.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Geddy Lee,
Yeah.
I created a character on MLB The Show,
Yeah.
and I named him Geddy Killmeister.
Okay.
You know who Lemmy is?
Yeah.
Big Motorhead fan. Anyway, I
Yeah.
combined those two, and I gave him like this beautiful handlebar mustache, a huge mullet.
Okay.
Dude's a god.
So
in regular
basically,
show.
like Kenny Powers.
He does look like Kenny Powers, but he's not as bulky. Like he's like muscular.
Yeah.
He looks like a rock god.
I mean, to be fair,
To be fair,
Kenny Powers wasn't all that big. He was fat, but
Yeah.
he wasn't jacked.
you remember the funeral episode Jason Sudeikis when he plays the twin?
It's been so long. I need to go back through it.
You're gonna have to walk into my funeral with a boombox. And just like interrupt whoever's speaking.
You know what? It's on,
or else we're not friends.
it's
I'm
on-
telling you that. I will haunt you if you don't do that.
Yeah. It's on Max, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Max, so.
You need to watch it. I love
See, I'm
that
going
show.
back through Veep at the moment.
Oh, okay, I love
It's pretty good. It's not,
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
definitely not as funny as the first time I watched it, but
I've never seen it.
you can't get. If you don't laugh when they make fun of Jonah, you're not a human.
That's probably accurate.
But since you haven't seen it, then you don't know what I'm talking about.
No, but I'm sure I'll like it. I like
Yeah.
satire.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the.
Let's get back to this.
Let's get back to it.
So I have just some general background on the author. I don't know what you pulled up, so.
I got some background. You want to go over the premise real quick of the
story?
Of the book? Yeah.
So I didn't actually look up the premise, but I was thinking I could read the description on the back of the book.
I have the premise too. You want me to do it?
Tell you what, let me read the back, and then you can add.
Go for it.
Or subtract anything you want. So this is the description on the back. It says, 3 academics on the trail of a reclusive German author, a New York reporter on his first Mexican assignment, a widowed philosopher, a police detective in love with an elusive older woman. These are among the searchers drawn to the border city of Santa Teresa, where over the course of a decade, hundreds of women have disappeared. In the words of the Washington Post, quote, with 2666, Bolaño joins the ambitious overachievers of the 20th century novel, those like Proust, Musil, Joyce, Gaddis, Pynchon, Fuentes, and Volman, who pushed the novel far past its conventional size and scope to encompass an entire era, deploying encyclopedic knowledge and stylistic verve to offer a grand, if sometimes idiosyncratic, summation of their culture and the novelist's place in it. Bolaño has joined the immortals.
And yeah, check, read again
Yes.
All the authors that this is compared to.
And if you're a longtime listener, think of all the ones we've touched upon.
Uh-huh.
Proust. Musil, which honestly I've never heard of Musil. When you look him up, or her, I don't know. Joyce. At some point we gotta do Finnegan's Wake.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually...
Or Ulysses.
I'm doing Ulysses first. I don't know if I have the balls to do Finnegan's Wake. I opened that up because I picked it up when I was in Europe.
Yeah.
And it can't make sense of it.
I have Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, and I told myself during like Christmas break that's going to be my read, but I was trying so hard to finish Magic Mountain.
Yeah.
I never got around to it.
Let's see. Fuentes, I believe I've read some of his. And then Volman. I think Volman, he was a WashU professor, wasn't he?
Yeah.
No, wait. Is that Gas I'm thinking of?
No, it's Gas. Yeah,
Okay.
Gas was.
But Volman for
Volman's,
sure is, it's kind of the same genre, but...
He's an elusive guy.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm glad they put Gaddis in here, because a lot of people don't know about Gaddis, but I guess if you're familiar with Gaddis, or people who read this are naturally going to be familiar with Gaddis, unless they just stumbled upon, like, that's a really cool cover. I wonder what this is about.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's great company to be next to.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Because
Yeah.
I mean, even if at the end of the day you're not into the encyclopedic novel, you have to be able to respect the pieces of art that these authors create.
Yeah.
You know?
It takes a special kind of mind to be able to be this,
Yeah.
Tight with your knowledge of the world.
Yeah.
I would add, in addition to Santa Teresa, settings and themes include the Eastern Front and World War II, the academic world, mental illness, journalism, and the breakdown of relationships and careers.
Okay.
2666 explores 20th century degeneration through various characters, locations, periods, and stories within stories.
Yeah.
The novel explores rumors, riddles, and lost identities throughout all 5 parts.
Yep, it is in 5 parts.
It's Santa Teresa,
Fictional town.
Based on
Juarez?
Yeah. When you're lost in the rain in Juarez, and it's Easter time too.
Who's that?
It's the great Bob Dylan.
Oh. He's got like freaking
Tom Thumbs Blue.
50 albums, so I don't know. It's
Dude,
probably
that's
one I
of
did
my
listen to.
favorite freaking tracks he's ever done. That you can
What
decipher that lyric by lyric.
What album is it off of?
Highway 61 Revisited. It's the last.
No, I have
last
that
track.
I was playing it the other day. But yeah.
My favorite part is the end where he goes, "I'm going back to New York City. I do believe I've had enough." The Beastie Boys, they sample that off of the Check Your Head record.
Oh, really?
I'm a big Beastie Boys fan. I love Beasties.
Yeah. Are you a beast?
Oh, yeah.
I told you I spent 3 hours in Juarez, right?
No, we never discussed this.
I bet somewhere along the line I did. Yeah. In 2020, I did a big road trip, and I stopped at El Paso. And I walked across the bridge, going to Juarez for a few hours, get some tacos, got a haircut.
How was Juarez?
It was fine. It was during the day. I definitely wouldn't go at night. But I almost say it's tongue in cheek, but when I came back across, the guy almost wouldn't let me in. He's like, "So you just went there for 3 hours, no drugs or anything?" I'm like, "No, I'm just a high school teacher on a road trip. Just wanted to spend some time in Mexico." And I could understand his skepticism.
Yeah.
It's gringo among all these Mexicans, and
you're a mule.
it's almost like
thinking you're a mule.
Well, that's the point. It's where I'm saying what I was doing, and it's when you're honest about something, and someone still doesn't believe you, you don't really know what to do.
Yeah, you kind of just sit there and just
because
stare at 'em.
if you start fighting them, you look like you're lying.
Yeah.
But it's what else am I supposed to tell you? It's the truth. But the tacos were very good. The haircut was decent.
Can't complain.
No.
So you wouldn't recommend Juarez?
I'd be okay. I'd go back again.
Okay.
Definitely not at night though. Yeah.
Understandable.
But back to 2666. You know what? We are somewhat staying on topic because it's like stream of consciousness thing.
Yeah, we're
And you know what? Our listeners appreciate this.
They like this. This is why they're around.
Yes.
Certain ones. So, you want to go over his background?
Yeah. So I got a lot of stuff. I want to say a lot. Normally I have 5 pages. I just got I don't know, page and a half. But jump in whenever you want. So Roberto Bolaño, he was born in 1953. in Chile, Santiago. He was a novelist, short story writer, poet, and essayist. He died in Barcelona at age 50 due to liver failure. And want to hear a fun fact that's not so fun?
Sure.
At the time of his death, he was third in line for a transplant.
Yeah, every place that you look up Bolaño's life, they mention that as a fact. Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah. So yeah, he was born in Chile. Oh, fun fact about Chile. Want to hear something that kind of toot my own horn?
Sure.
So when I was a freshman at Bradley, we had sophomore actually. Our new head coach was Cuban, and he asked me, Brett, how do you spell Chile? I was like, the food or the country? And he's like, oh, there you go, buddy. I know you're a Spanish student.
So speaking of Chile,
yeah,
my senior year in college, I had to do a presentation on Chilean cinema.
Ooh, nice.
And I had to try and do it in as much Spanish as possible.
Yeah.
But long story short, I took German in high school.
Yeah.
My major required 4 semesters worth of German,
like you told me
foreign
this,
language. I only had 2 semesters of German, and I couldn't do 2 and 2. I had to do 1, so I had to take Spanish.
Okay.
But yeah,
what's
great.
I'm gonna quiz you on this.
Oh God.
Best current Chilean director.
Pablo Larraín.
Boom, perfect.
I knew that because he was one of my slides. I talked a lot about him because I was obsessed with the movie Jackie.
Yeah, so I've seen, I don't know, I think 3 of his films, but he's next on my list of directors to go through. But
I didn't like El Conde as much.
You didn't?
I thought it was okay.
Beautifully shot.
Oh, it's beautiful. I just the pacing was off. It was a lot slower than Spencer and
I loved
Jackie.
It.
I need to see the new one.
What's funny is, in English we say Pablo Larraín, but in Spanish it's actually Pablo Larraín.
Oh, really?
Very different, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
God, I love language. Continue.
Yeah, so he moved to Mexico in 1968 when he was 15.
Yep.
And then 1973, he briefly moved back to Chile to help build the revolution because he was a socialist. So he supported the government of Salvador Allende.
God bless. Love him. Rest in peace.
You would.
Yeah, well, what happened? What happened to my boy, Salvador?
He was murdered, right?
By who?
Pinochet.
And who was back in Pinochet?
I'm assuming the U.S.?
The CIA.
Yep. But so, fun fact. Kind of a disputed story.
Fun fact. Go ahead.
So, Bolaño says he was arrested, spent 8 days in jail.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2009, some of his friends from that era have denied that was the case. So it's kind of disputed.
Yeah, he said he was arrested on suspicion of being a terrorist and spent 8 days in custody. And he was rescued by 2 former classmates who had become prison guards.
Yeah, so
you can find. Well, he has a story about this.
Yeah, he wrote a story about
card,
it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, his wife says it's a true story, or his widow now, I guess. But these people who were friends with him back in the day said it didn't happen. So it may be true. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
Right.
And then 1974, he moved back to Mexico. So he only spent, I don't know, I think 6 or 7 months back in Chile.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 1977, he moved to Spain and settled in Blanes, about an hour north of Barcelona. So that's kind of where he spent the rest of his days.
So I also have a little tidbit. In the 60s,
Yep.
Bolaño was an atheist since his youth.
Yep.
Became a Trotskyist, which is awesome. And in 1975 was a founding member of Infrarealismo or Infrarealism.
Yeah.
How would you say that?
Infrarealism. You're talking in Spanish?
Yeah.
Infrarealismo.
Okay. See, I can't like.
Infrarealismo.
No, I'm not gonna try it. I always think I sound pretentious.
Yeah. Just try to purr.
Purr.
There you go.
And that was like a slight, poetic movement. But he ended up parodied. He parodied it.
Yeah.
His own movement in the Savage Detectives.
Yeah. Something I found interesting. So I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
But he did not actually start writing fiction until his 40s. Up until then, he was primarily a poet, and he realized he needed a way to provide for his family.
Yeah.
And so
I think he begrudgingly became a fiction writer.
yeah, well, what's funny is, I think any writer who gets, as big as he did, even for most of it was posthumously.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just think they're these, like, pie in the sky kind of guys. But, like, when he moved to Barcelona, he just worked odd end jobs. He was a custodian somewhere. He pretty much did anything he could because he had a wife and, I think, 2 kids to just put food on the table.
Yeah,
and he just kind of did this in his spare time. Yeah.
Well, Faulkner was a security guard when he was writing The Sound and the Fury and As I Lay Dying.
Yeah, I need to give him another shot.
I love Faulkner.
Yeah.
I love Faulkner. It is the most difficult of reading, but when you sit with it and you don't don't ever speed run through Faulkner. No. But if you read a chapter, wait a few days, and just reflect on what happened, you realize his brilliance.
Yeah. Well, if I remember right, like in the Sound of Fury, like there are quote unquote chapters that are just like a single sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the opening is through one of the siblings who's
mentally handicapped.
Yeah, and it's like brass cojones to open up your book, and it's like almost indecipherable.
Yeah,
like you have no idea what's going on, and then you have to go back and reread the first chapter when you.
If that is brass cojones. Finnegan's Wake must be titanium cojones because it's like 800 pages of that.
Gosh, I really need to suck it up. We need to do Joyce at some point.
We'll do Ulysses first.
Yeah, we'll start with Ulysses.
And you know what? I was going to save this for the end, but you know what? I'm going to say it right now because we're talking about authors.
Sure.
One thing I've noticed, confirm or deny this, it seems very rare. I can't think of any authors off the top of my head that have more than 2 exceptional works. It seems like 2 is just about.
Really?
I mean, like Tolstoy, Anna Karenina, War and Peace.
What about Dostoevsky?
He might be the exception. Brothers Karamazov, Crime and Punishment.
Notes from the Underground.
Yeah, it's kind of a minor one though. Maybe The Idiot.
Yeah, The Idiot's a big one.
But like,
what about Vonnegut?
Yeah, but he didn't write tomes though. I'm talking like.
Are you talking about big books?
Like, for example, I'm reading East of Eden.
Pynchon. Pynchon has many of.
Yeah, but even like Steinbeck, East of Eden, Grapes of Wrath, everything beyond that's kind of novellas.
You don't like
and stuff.
The Pearl?
I did, but that's like a novella.
Wait, are you talking about like they can't write big novels, or you think like the quality?
I'm talking
doesn't go beyond the 2. Because what about Dickens? Dickens wrote multiple.
I don't like Dickens.
I know, but you're letting your bias not.
Well, I guess
not accept that he was brilliant.
No, I've acknowledged he's brilliant. I just don't like him. Too Victorian for me. But no, I guess I'm thinking, not novellas, not a normal length novel, but like an actual kind of the ones we do.
Oh, okay.
Like a sizable, thick tome, a book that's gonna make some noise when you drop it on the table.
There's somebody out there who's like seething at you right now, and at me for not being able.
to
think of more.
That's true.
But
you know what? I'm trying to think of them. I mean, Tolstoy only had 2. Steinbeck only had 2.
Gaddis
only had 2.
I guess you got a point.
Because Gaddis, it's like J.R. and the Recognitions. Do you think you'll ever read J.R.?
No.
Yeah, I'm too intimidated about it.
I think about it every time, and then I think about everything's in dialogue that's not connected with anyone.
It's like it's one of those things. If you could read it in one sitting, maybe. But the fact that it's over 800 pages and they don't say who's talking.
Yes.
Like, what are you going to do when you put the book down? Like, have to notate, okay, this is who's talking right now.
Exactly. Exactly. It'll be fun in a sense, but it'll also be infuriating to get through. What about your boy Proust? His whole thing. In Search of Lost Time has multiple tomes.
Yeah, but I think that was all. I count that as one thing. It's like one story. It's not separate.
See, now you're drawing lines in the sand.
I mean, you wouldn't? It's a series. It's not like
it's a series.
It's not a stand. I'm talking more than 2 standalone exceptional tomes.
Well, who was Carl Knausgaard? He wrote an entire tome series of my life.
Not a series.
Okay.
More than 2 completely
You know what?
unrelated
Stephen King.
tomes.
Stephen King has multiple tomes. You have The Stand, It, Sleeping Beauties. It's on my shelf here.
Okay, but you get my point, right? There are not very many of them.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it does take a lot. It
Yeah.
takes a lot.
I mean, a lot of these authors, they spend close to a decade composing these,
Oh, yeah. That's a lot of patience.
So
Anyway, back on topic. Let's get back on topic.
Well, it's kind of on topic.
Okay.
Yeah. But okay. Do you know in your research he was dyslexic?
No.
Yeah, that's what I came across.
That's wonderful that he was able to get through
No.
just like most brilliant things with that.
Yeah. I mean, perhaps he just, recorded all his stuff.
That is a
Speaking
possibility.
at
A lot
someone
of
else.
writers do that.
Yeah.
So this novel was released posthumously.
Yeah, which is interesting because I believe universally it's recognized as his best.
This, and I think Savage Detectives are considered his
Yes.
best. I would also argue.
I've not read Savage Detectives. I have it, but I haven't read it.
So I have this. I have Savage Detectives. I have Cowboy Graves, and there's another one I have, and then I have By Night in Chile.
I heard that's really good.
By Night in Chile.
Yeah.
I could not put that book down.
Mm-hmm.
It's some of the most beautiful freaking writing, and I have to slam on the table. I had to take my car to a dealership to get worked on for a recall.
Yeah.
And I was there for 2 hours. I brought that book with me. I literally just sat there and read half of it in that go. I couldn't put the book. Oh, I love it. It's so beautiful. I have a quote from it.
Mm-hmm.
Bear with me.
You're good.
All right. As time goes by, the whip crack of the years, the precipice of illusions, the ravine that swallows up all human endeavor except the struggle to survive.
Mm-hmm.
I have a whole lot of other quotes, but it's okay.
Yeah. Speaking of Savage Detectives, so he won the Romulo Gallegos Prize for that. And if you're unaware of that, which I was unaware, it's a Venezuelan Literary Award for Best Spanish Fiction. So apparently it's named after Romulo.
Oh.
Come on, Bo. I gotta put this on tightly.
It was tight.
My mic just fell to the table, so I gotta hold it up by my hand now. But anyways, it's named after Romulo Gallegos. I guess he was a Venezuelan writer, and he was president for 7 months in 1948. And he was author of Doña Barbara, which is considered by many the most widely known Latin American novel.
I like it.
And you might be out there, well, what about Don Quixote? Well, that is Spanish. We're talking Latin America.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Putting them in their place.
It's like I'm a Spanish teacher or something.
It's like you make a living out of
Bo,
this.
you see what I'm doing here? I'm tightening it to the table.
See, what you're doing
So-
has nothing to do with what happened. It's just the weight. See how you moved the arm back?
Yeah.
There you go.
But
That's
it fell
all you had.
down because it's not tight enough.
That was tight.
Not tight enough.
Well, okay. Well, mine's...
Look at this. I don't have to hold it up now.
Anyway.
And also, I'm sure you were aware, because it says it right on the cover of this book, it won the 2008 National Book Critics Award.
Oh.
Posthumously.
Look at that. He was originally planning on a single book, but then considered publishing it in 5 volumes so he could provide more income for his children.
Yeah, he was channeling his inner Dickens.
Yep, but they decided otherwise. And they decided it was best in one lengthy volume.
Boom.
Bolaño had been well aware of the book's unfinished status and said a month before his death that over 1,000 pages still had to be revised.
So he pretty much worked himself to death then.
Yeah.
Or, hell, he expedited his death.
Yes, he expedited his death. That's wonderful. Also, I read that he never visited Juarez.
Really?
He received information and support from friends and colleagues such as the Mexican journalist Sergio Gonzalez Rodriguez, who was the author of the 2002 book of essays and journalistic chronicles, which is the title translation is Bones in the Desert.
Okay.
and it was concerning the place and the femicides that were happening.
Well, it's a little bit like Kafka writing America. Never went there, just got info from newspapers. But
True.
I would say Bolaño, being that he lived in Mexico for a little while, probably got a little closer to it than Kafka did.
Definitely.
Did you ever read to the trial?
No, not yet. Since we're starting this, I've been trying to knock out like smaller novels.
Yeah.
So right now I'm reading Slapstick by Vonnegut.
Oh, yeah. I never read it. I'm familiar with it.
It's not my favorite of his.
Yeah.
It's too... It tries too much with its like over-the-top humor.
For me, Slaughterhouse-Five was best.
Slaughterhouse-Five and maybe Sirens of Titan I absolutely love.
Sirens of Titan is good.
I don't know. Vonnegut's one of my favorite writers. So even though like this isn't my favorite, it's still like quality to me.
Well, you know what you're going to get with Vonnegut.
Yeah.
It's a very easy read. You know exactly what he's saying. He says the same thing in every novel, but they're good.
Philosophy and humor.
Yeah.
That's why I love Monty Python. That's why I love Vonnegut. It's the same type of humor to me.
Yeah.
So I need to read the trial. That's probably gonna be my next read.
And
but I have to finish the Satanic Verses first.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
I need to get that.
It's great writing.
Yeah.
It's difficult, but I like it.
Really, the only Rushdie I've read is Harun and the Sea of Stories. I read that in high school.
Interesting. That's a deep cut of his.
Yeah, I think it was he wrote it for kids or something, or like a young adult audience.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I tried reading Midnight's Children like a decade ago, and I didn't finish it. So that's still on my shelf too. But
I have another one of his books somewhere.
Yeah.
I think it's a tome as well.
Oh, I see the trial there. It's at the top of the stack. That's the same copy I got.
Darn right.
But no, if you're out there when you're wondering, the Satanic Verses, like some like book on witchcraft and stuff. It's like no, it's a bit. As I understand it, it's basically there's a guy who is accused of blasphemy by the Muslim community for doing something with the Quran, and so they track him down, and it's like, kind of my understanding is one of the themes is kind of like how far do you go with these things?
Yeah, Rushdie did not like organized religion, and he grew up. I think his family was Muslim, and he just ended up despising all organized religion.
And then after
critiqued it throughout his work.
After the Satanic Verses, what's on his head?
Fatwa.
Fatwa, and Larry David's familiar with that. Shout out to Curb.
Love Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, he's got a fatwa on his head, and then ends up meeting with Rushdie to find out how to deal with it. And then Rushdie tells him it's a great way to get women, and so God. Larry David embraces it.
I love Larry David so much. He's so funny.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, we're getting really off. I know what we're not getting off topic here.
This is right. This is what we need to do.
Yeah.
I have a few tabs on the themes of the novel and the themes of his overall work. If you've never read Bolaño before,
I have not. Can I say a couple more things about him himself before we get into that? So he's frequently been compared to Jorge Luis Borges and Julio Cortázar.
Great company.
Yep. And I got this one quote on him. This was from, I forget who it was from. It was some website. The quote, a writer with avant-garde origins who worked in almost total obscurity for most of his career, Bolaño somehow emerged as the first political publishing phenomenon of the 21st century, leaving behind a large body of posthumous work that is still expanding, and a life story shot through with mythos and confusion. So, and there's still no biography of him.
That's a shame.
20 plus years later after his death.
As time goes by as well, I feel like more people turn to him and use his name as like, this is, deep literature right here.
Yeah.
Modern literature. So, like every time someone says something about like Wallace or Gass, Bowman, I feel like Bolaño's name pops up.
Oh yeah, always in the same circle. It's like, I forget what when on Amazon when I clicked on it to buy it, they always show like what other people have bought, whatever, and it was Pynchon, Gaddis, and all this stuff.
Postmodern novel.
Yeah. So anyways, that's all I have on him as a person. So why don't you continue?
I think you've tackled pretty much everything I've also was reading about him. Major themes, and this is from what I've realized reading By Night in Chile, and from what I've read off the internet. Significant themes of his work include quests, quote, the myth of poetry, the interrelationship of poetry and crime, the inescapable violence of modern life, especially in Latin America, and the essential human business of youth, love, and death. All of those are tackled through By Night in Chile, right? Because it's about a priest who openly accepts fascists because he just feels like it's the easiest thing to do, and but mainly wants to be a poet, but yet his job is to critique poetry.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how he works that in, because I'm just flipping through this right now, and I don't see any actual poems. So,
well, By Night in Chile is all pretty much like one paragraph.
Okay.
It's like the original On the Road. The best way to read On the Road is all one paragraph. Another, Bolaño emphasized its inherent political qualities. He wrote, all literature, in a certain sense, is political. I mean, first, it's a reflection on politics, and second, it's also a political program. The former alludes to reality, to the nightmare or benevolent dream that we all call reality, which ends, in both cases, with death and obliteration not only of literature, but of time. The latter refers to the small bits and pieces that survive, that persist, and to reason. Would you agree with that in a certain sense?
Read it again.
All literature, in a certain sense, is political. That's pretty much all you really need to... First, it's a reflection on politics, and second, it's a political program.
Well, I think if you get specific with that, can you have to define what literature is? I mean, like, I wouldn't say The Cat in the Hat is political.
Maybe not, but I would also argue that Cat in the Hat's one of the first novels you read as a kid, knowing what the message of Cat in the Hat overall is. It's a learning curve or learning strategy for parents to use on kids. So in a sense, I guess it is political.
Yeah, I guess.
Remember what I said a few times. The conditions of the artist's world is the conditions in which to judge the art. Right? So all of his books talk about his time trying to fight through whatever means necessary. Fascist politics. Like, he was an inherent socialist. So for him, maybe like that is constantly influencing his worldview, and I feel like there's a lot of authors that would. I'd
say most literature is inherently political, but I mean, like I said, you got to define political. That's my thing.
I think everyone wakes up and it's political.
I mean,
every time I wake up, on my first breath, I say, "Damn the man who crosses me today." Everybody is on edge because I woke up.
How is that political?
I don't know. Because we live in a political age, and I don't follow the mass politics, apparently. So I feel like every step I take is a political choice.
I could see both sides of that. I'll be honest.
I would say, but I'm also a big fan of punk music.
Punk is political.
Exactly. So that's how I decipher art. This is through like a punk lens. So
I'm just saying the very mundane things of life, like eating and drinking.
You don't think eating is a political choice?
No.
No? You don't think? How do we get most of our food?
You can make it political, but
it is political.
Me eating a salad is not inherently political. I'm
Really?
not trying to make a statement. It's just I'm hungry.
You can. Typically, you
it's
could.
my choice to.
You know what's political?
Your mom?
What is the cheap? My mom is political.
I know.
What is the cheapest thing for most people to buy?
I talk to your parents. Them and I get along very well.
They do. They love you. Every time they say they've gone to BCC, you're like, "Oh, we saw Brett today."
Yeah.
Nice. They're always excited.
Yeah, we get along politically too.
You do. Yeah, you do.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I'm an anomaly. Yeah. What is the cheapest thing for people to buy?
The absolute cheapest?
Yep.
I'm going with water.
Well, maybe. Voss water is like $5.
No, I mean like
Nestle
water out of the sink.
I would
pay the water bill.
Sure, but if you're going out, if you got to go grocery shopping, what is more affordable for most people?
out of everything.
Yeah.
I don't know, bananas.
No. Especially not now. It's mainly junk food.
You get a banana for like 25 cents.
For a single banana for 25
You
cents.
asked
But if you went...
You asked the cheapest thing people can buy.
If you went and brought...
You got to be more specific.
And bought, everything you would need for a healthy diet. Produce, nothing... no cereal or chips or anything like that. You would be, in some trouble.
Yeah.
But it's best for people sometimes to buy Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Yeah.
Right? You go to certain communities that are essentially have to build around food deserts, right? Because the structure of their city, they don't put grocery stores there. But the only thing there are like corner stores, and all they got is soda and chips, because that's easily like affordable. That's a political thing. That is a system that is building upon malnourishing its own citizens. I find that political.
I would disagree with you on that, but
I would also say that it's a political choice for mass farming, or mass slaughterhouses. That's a political choice.
In what sense?
If you support Tyson, a company that is killing too many, or that it's mass farming of livestock where they don't actually have a life. They don't. The only purpose is to breed and kill. There's no, like, when you have companies that say they're open farming, right? Or what's the word? What's the phrase that I'm looking for? The term they use, but they make it known that it's like a happy farm, essentially.
Regenerative farming?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's the term, but what I'm trying to get at is that mass farming of livestock is a political action, and it is wrong. So when you look at places like Chipotle, and they're like, oh yeah, we're, that we only use small farmers instead of these mass factories that just slaughter chickens on a, Ford style.
Yeah.
That's a political thing to me.
Yeah, but I'm going to rebut something.
That's the point.
Yep. So these mass farms, objectively, they don't provide the highest quality food, but what they provide is cheaper. So, for example, the people you're talking about in the food deserts, they'd be more able to afford chicken from, let's say, Tyson than from a local organic farm. Yeah,
I feel like that's a choice, because companies have a say apparently in our government, and Tyson's the biggest, company in, frozen foods and chicken, and places that provide chicken and all that, meats. Scary.
Capitalism, buddy.
Yep, it's terrible.
Speaking of, I think it's the greatest thing in the world. But
speaking of another thing, he fought Nazism and fascism. That's a reoccurring theme for him.
Yeah.
Across all of his work, most notably in Nazi literature in the Americas and the Third Reich. Critic Jacob Silverman described the use of Nazism in Bolaño's work as, quote, a kind of shadow text that runs throughout his work, showing how the narcissism of power has much in common with the narcissism of authorship. From this lens, Bolaño's ambitious young authors in exile could be seen as a foil to the foiled ambition of Nazis in exile. The malignance of ambition, as well as the morally treacherous choice that some of Bolaño's generation made, throwing their lot with Augusto Pinochet. So people, we talked about it at another episode, the banality of evil.
Yeah.
Just sitting around accepting it is just as evil as doing it.
Yeah, I mean, if you see something bad and don't do anything, I'm not going to say equally guilty, but there is a level of guilt on your head.
I would say you're guilty, yeah. We're agreeing.
That's why I call you out for your erroneous Marxist communist beliefs.
And that's why I call you out on your erroneous fascist beliefs.
I'm not fascist.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Define fascism.
I mean, well, you're not necessarily a fascist, I wouldn't say, because that's a far right extreme. And I wouldn't say I'm a totalitarian because that's a left-wing extreme, and I don't believe in that either.
Okay. So I'm not a fascist.
We'll see. Who knows?
I'm not, but okay. The left's fascist, but
The left is not fascist.
Biden-
How is the left fascist?
So fascism, by definition, is when government is in cahoots with private business, and especially during the last administration, that's redundant. There were a lot of private companies that worked with the government to suppress free speech.
When have you ever seen anyone from my side, anyone from my side,
Yeah.
talk about the positivity of being patriotic or a nationalist?
Never.
So fascism, that's its main point.
No,
Is
fascism
it them
is
versus us? We have to purify our own people,
yeah.
right? When has anyone from the left side
Yeah.
forcefully suppressed opposition to beliefs?
You can argue with the Hunter Biden laptop story.
I could argue with Elon Musk taking my social security number for his own benefit.
China already had all the information.
Okay, I'm talking about a man who has no business being in politics. We're not talking about a foreign.
So you don't think
Country.
all this aid he's finding that is completely worthless, you don't think eliminating that is good?
I don't.
Really?
Because what's happening, what we're seeing,
Yeah.
is that there is a hard oligarchical community in our country that's always been there. I will admit, has always been there because both parties are the same party.
I would disagree, but okay.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You look at the inauguration, and you see a line of all the tech bros behind our president,
Yeah.
and that's scary because there's nothing in common between me and Mr. Bezos and Mr. Musk, especially Zuckerberg. I have nothing in common with them because
See-
they don't live the same lives that you and I do.
But
Most of these guys will walk into their companies and make, $100 for every second,
okay,
while
what
we
issue-
make minimum.
what issue do you have with that though? They
I
earned
have
it.
a lot of issues with that.
They earned it, though.
They should not be anywhere near our politics. Politics and business have to be separate.
See, I think the government should be run like a business,
I don't. Why would it?
so we can stay out of debt. For one, there's so much
Wow.
waste within the government. There's only 6% of federal workers are showing up to their offices.
Okay.
So we have.
What do you mean?
So there's all these buildings in Washington D.C. that essentially are vacant, and we're still paying for it. We're paying all this money for the leases. So it's like you need an outside person to come in and look at it line by line and look at all the expenses, whether they're necessary, whether they're not. The smaller the government, the more freedom for the people, and they're reducing the size of government, which I am all in favor of.
I don't know, pal. I think the system is broken, and I think we've proven it twice in the past
See,
decade that it's broken.
And what-
Because here's the thing. Trump has no business being in politics.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
I love the guy.
No.
I'm MAGA for life,
Oh
buddy.
my gosh, that's a shame. Right? When you have someone
When
who
his tax-
openly
yeah.
talks
Yeah.
that guys like me are vermin, he says that and aligns me with another ideology that history has shown, studies have shown, is not collaborative with socialist viewpoints. Fascism is a far right extreme. It is destroying a centralized government for the privatization of a wealthy few. You see that in Nazi Germany. You've seen that in Italy, right?
So you think Trump's a fascist?
Absolutely, I do. Wholeheartedly.
He's shrinking government. Fascist by
You-
definition in large government.
Just proved a point of that, though.
In what way?
They're a wealthy class, right?
What does wealth have to do with it, though?
Has everything to do with it.
You think it's us? You think it's us
okay,
against
in
them?
the 70s? Yes, I 100% do. In the 70s,
Yeah.
Judge Powell, believe it was Powell, said that a corporation
Mm-hmm.
has enough voting right and power as an individual citizen.
Mm-hmm.
That ruling created what we now call what? That helps major political funding. PACs, super PACs.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, everyone in Congress has at least sold their soul to get to that point to say, well, if you're going to do these types of, that's what your mission is, what am I going to get out of that? So they keep selling themselves to the highest corporate bidder. That is not real democracy. And that's not what I'm for.
Well, we don't live in a democracy.
And that's a problem. But yeah, we tell people we're the democracy of the free world.
We're the freest country in the world.
We judge other countries based upon us, and I wouldn't say.
See, I think we're the greatest country in the world, and you won't get me to retract that.
You don't have to retract that. I just say there's major problems with how we're running things because this is not democratic. But yeah, we tell people it is, but it's not.
The reason we're a constitutional republic is because the founders saw what happened in Greece, and a pure democracy results in tyranny over time. Because if you have 51% of the people, if you're in a pure democracy, 51% of the people vote for one politician, there's opportunity for him or her, whatever, to do like massive changes, like massive beyond. And so basically you have the tyranny of the minority, because that minority is what tipped the scales. That's why they put these checks and balances in place.
So they put their checks and balances in place to keep a certain people above another person?
No. They put checks and balances in place so anytime there is a massive change, that has to go through a variety of channels to make sure that 60-70% of the population is good with it.
So you think that there's a healthy amount of checks and balances happening to this day right now in the current month we've been living under?
Yeah, because he's undoing everything Biden and Obama did.
Yeah, but who's stopping him? Where are the checks and balances coming from? Because
in the Constitution, the executive orders are in there.
Yeah, executive orders, but no.
I mean, you can
who has he put in place to help stop other people in government from saying, no, you can't do this? Who controls Supreme Court? You. Mm-hmm. Who now controls the Senate and the House?
Me. I mean, my party, not me.
Yeah, exactly. Your party.
But you guys had all three, under Biden and Obama, switches. At some point in my lifetime, the Dems will be in power again.
And I will not call either of them my own, because they don't represent me either.
Yeah.
Again, I always go into these kinds of talks with the assumption that I will never change your mind or anyone that I'm talking politics.
And I will never change yours,
because that doesn't do me. But I will say that again, I will tell you till the cows and the chickens come home.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party is not the party of socialism. They do not represent a leftist movement at all.
The modern Dems are socialists.
No, they are not. Because what the Biden administration has done during their tenure is atrocious.
Yeah.
Right? You're looking at certain issues that they condemned, and now they're going to try and say that, that had lost us the vote. No, it didn't. You lost the vote because you never stood for anything. You tried to cut corners, and
they went too far left.
I don't think they went too left, because what shows.
But you don't think they went far enough?
No, and I'll answer that with.
I think we're getting off topic.
No. I'll answer that with a question.
Yeah.
Or no, I'll not. That's not a question. Look at Missouri, right?
Yeah.
Most people voted for who in this state?
Trump.
Yeah, he won the popular vote.
Yeah.
How much did abortion rights win over, taking them out? More people voted to have women's right to choose, more astronomically more than taking that right away. What does that tell you? That people actually care about leftist policies. That should tell you something.
A little bit, yeah.
I think that tells a huge story there.
Yeah.
But then again, we have people that are actively ruining other people's lives by hoarding and trying to cut corners as much as possible. So when you see some dude from South Africa, right, who is now the richest man in the world, come into our government and say that he's going to help get rid of all of these things that we have to protect us, whether or not, I mean, I have a whole bunch of issues with current politics in this state, so I'm not defending anything the American government does.
Yeah.
But you have someone like that who has no clearances for security, nothing, but because his net worth is some odd $1 billion.
That's not why Trump hired him, though.
Why did he hire him? What does he have?
He literally built Tesla. He built SpaceX.
Did he build Tesla, or does he own patents?
He built Tesla.
Did he, by his own hands, build Tesla?
No, he didn't actually get in there and build the cars.
Why is it that everyone who helped him establish the company said he doesn't know anything about it? Actually doing the tech stuff.
You know what? You don't build those companies without being brilliant. He doesn't actually have any power. All he gives is recommendations to Trump, and Trump can sign off or he can sign on to them.
And
I happen to love Trump.
Yet? Has he ever signed off on it yet?
Some of them, yeah.
I wouldn't say so. He has access to both of our social security numbers.
So everybody in the world has.
I find that weird. I find that really scary.
All I know is I love what's going on right now, and you don't, and we're still friends. So
true.
At the end of the day,
at the end of the day, I think this book will help you.
I don't know. I doubt it.
I think it'll change your worldview a little bit. That's why I picked it.
We agreed on it. We agreed on it.
Yeah, but it was my idea.
Yeah. Does that mean I get to pick the next one?
You picked the last one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So boom, I'll pick the next one.
All right. It's gonna be Ayn Rand, isn't it?
No, I mean I would love to go through that, but I've already read her, so
that's true. And recently.
Yeah. All right.
You know what? We have to say it. I'm glad that we're able to be comfortable enough with each other to argue politics.
As wrong as I think you are, and as frustrated as I get with you at times,
with feeling.
As much as I think you're off your rocker, I still love you, buddy.
I love you too. All right.
What else you got?
That's about it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't want to spoil. I didn't want to go in and find any quotes from the actual novel, just because I kind of wanted to go in, blind on it.
So at least so my copy is 898 pages. How long is yours? Because Infinite Jest was over 1,000, wasn't it? Or was it 900? Yeah.
Mine is 898.
Okay, so essentially the same printing, just hardcover.
Yep. I also have with it that I'll be reading afterwards. Emma got me this little book. It's actually like a little book.
Yeah,
actual tiny size. It is An Oasis of Horror in a Desert of Boredom by Jonathan Russell Clark, and it's just an analysis of 2666.
Okay.
After devouring 2666 by Roberto Bolaño on the New York City subway, Jonathan Russell Clark does what any good literary critic would do. He reads everything by Bolaño he can get his hands on. But the more he learns about the writer's unlikely life, the less it makes sense. Bolaño cultivated ambiguities and false identities almost as if he were laying a trap for his future biographers. Clark's investigation into Bolaño's magnum opus is a stumble through a labyrinth where fiction and self-mythologizing converge. So, I'm excited to have this little tidbit as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Emma got me that last Christmas, I believe.
Okay. Nice.
2023 Christmas.
Boom.
So, yeah. I'm excited. This has been on my radar for ages.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to reading it. I mean, it's definitely highly acclaimed, and
I heard it's going to be difficult because he'll go into, excruciating detail of landscape.
Yeah.
But I think that also is part of it, like this cosmic odyssey of...
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we got through everything we've gotten through so far, then I don't think it'll be too much trouble.
If I can get through Swan's Way, I think I can tackle anything. If I can get through Magic Mountain, oh yeah.
Which was a great novel.
It was a great novel.
Yeah.
It hasn't been my favorite, though. It's not my least favorite either.
No, my least favorite was David Copperfield.
Mine was Swan's Way. I did not like Swan's Way.
Swan's Lane, Swan's Lake. That was the second least favorite I've read.
I'm excited. I'm just excited to get back to like the postmodern type of prose.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it'll be exactly like Wallace, but I feel like it'll be close enough for me to scratch that itch of like that and Gaddis.
Well, Wallace was like Infinite Jest. Yes, technically it was postmodern, but it wasn't written like one. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it was complicated, but you can make sense of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would agree.
Whereas
with
a
that.
lot of stuff we've read, it's like, what does it even mean? Like,
and I feel like that also has to do with we're reading, historical texts.
Yeah.
Where certain things have changed over time, so it's kind of hard for us to fully embrace because the text does kind of date itself. But now we're back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh.
Yeah, I really hope this. I hope I enjoy this novel as much as I enjoy the cover art.
Yeah, I know. I'm a little nervous every time I see. Oh, that's a beautiful looking cover.
Yeah.
I always like, don't judge a book by its cover.
I totally do though.
I do too. There's so many books.
You
here
know
that
what one really lived up to it? Stoner.
Oh, absolutely.
I would say.
Is it in arm's reach?
I would say probably the most perfect novel I've ever read.
Yeah, it's on my shelf.
Like it is a perfect novel.
That is one of my favorite books.
The title of the biography on John Williams is a perfect novel, I believe.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I need to read Augustus soon.
Yeah. I read that. That was kind of the anomaly of his 3 novels.
Yeah. That's what I read.
I didn't really enjoy it.
Yeah, you've said that. And so that's why I haven't really cracked it open yet.
Stoner, Butcher's Crossing, or Chef's Kiss.
There was one night where... what's his name? Laszlo?
Yeah.
Or
the guy who wrote...
Lomax? His rival in Stoner.
Yeah.
From the moment he's introduced until like Stoner's quote demise or downfall, I could not put that book down. I think I stopped reading at like 2 a.m.
Oh, really?
And I had started from like 9, and like I just couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
I was so I tried at one point, but I had so much adrenaline. I was like, no.
Yeah.
And then I took the day off work because I stayed up.
Yeah. Yeah. But
it happens.
It does happen.
All right. Got anything else?
We
we have any figures? How is our last episode doing?
Let me check real quick. Let's see here.
Oh.
We go on my app. Let's see. Definitely no emails or anything. Let's see here. Profile podcast. All right. Let's see. Last 3 months. We have 21 downloads.
Let's go.
So
I'll take it.
Yep.
And maybe someone's not downloading and listening. We'll take that too.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me look real quick. Yeah, we're all over the world. We got 1 download in UAE. No.
All right.
But no, reach out to us, Once Upon a Time 22 on Insta and X.
Yeah, especially if we may have offended you. Please text us through those apps.
And apparently you guys love hearing us argue.
Yeah, so we hope we gave you a good one today.
I feel like kind of a dead horse every time we talk about politics, but
yep,
it just naturally comes up,
Once if I'm on another blacklist, apparently.
Yeah, but if you're employed.
Well, if I am,
yeah,
good on me.
Should we let the folks know what's happening in the next few months?
Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Okay, well, we'll leave it as a cliffhanger then.
Yeah.
Regardless of,
because I haven't let anyone else know yet.
Don't worry, folks.
You're the only person.
The podcast is still going to continue, even though there's some sizable shifts that are about to take place.
Big tectonic shift will happen.
Ooh, could we say a earthquake?
Ooh, yes.
The earthquake. That's probably, we should work that into a podcast title.
Earthquake?
At some point, yeah.
We'll see.
We'll put it in my mental cabinet.
Maybe around the summertime.
Yeah. Last thing, would we agree to one episode every couple hundred pages, just to kind of try to get some more out there?
Yeah, since it's 800 pages, I would say maybe
false. It is
898.
It's closer to 900.
Okay, round up on pages that don't exist.
Round up a whole.
Gosh, everything's
2 pages.
a construct. Numbers are a construct, man.
I mean, come on. 898 is far closer to 900 than it is 800. So I feel like I win.
Obviously,
that
by
argument.
definition, but the pages don't exist. That's what I'm talking about. There's only 898 pages.
So 98.
Anyway, do you want to say
do
how about
exist
how we
in
say
2000.
250 or 300?
200.
All right,
200.
I like it.
Yeah. I'm putting my foot down.
All right, 200 it is.
We'll do it
Sold.
live. We'll do it live.
Frick it, we'll do it live.
Such a great video.
It's one of the funniest things.
Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, just YouTube.
That's been on early
Bill O'Reilly.
YouTube days.
Is that
right
Entertainment
there.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We'll do it live.
Frick it, we'll do it live.
He didn't say frick it though.
No, he didn't. But
There's a hot mic moment.
gosh, he sucks. All right. Well, we hope you will enjoy this. We hope that we don't.
Hopefully we haven't turned you off, but just know we love each other and
Yeah, there's no harm in here.
no.
All right.
Get it?
Well, take care.
Later. See ya.
Thank you.